Welcome back to Athletic Everyday, day number 179. Started out this lower body workout with a little bit of a different warm-up. So this is like a dynamic stretching, kind of like mobility routine. I got this off of a track sprinter from Norway called Mathias Hove Johansen. If you haven't seen his channel, definitely go and check him out. He basically posts complete logs of all of his training he does for being an elite. I don't know if he's an Olympic level sprinter, but he's definitely a very, very high level sprinter. He competes internationally. But he posts all of his training logs on YouTube. And I must say, like, his training and the amount of effort that he put into editing his videos, it really, really inspired me to get into training as much as I do. But the thing I always notice about his training is that he's just moving all throughout the day. He's doing a lot of movement. He's doing a lot of these things like first thing in the morning. He's doing these like right before bed at night, stretching, dynamic mobility. He obviously trains sometimes 2 times a day or even more. But in between those sessions, he's doing all kinds of routines like this to keep his body moving and keep that blood flowing. And I think that this type of activity is what I'm missing in my sort of daily routine right now, because in between workouts or like when I'm not working out, I'm either sitting or just walking, but I'm never doing anything like sort of like active like this. So doing this even before a workout or just as like my general thing, more often I'm going to start incorporating it more into my routine to see how that facilitates either recovery or just like getting ready for a workout. So first thing I did after I skipped was I actually measured the height of the rim. And this rim, when it's in this position on the floor, because the floor is so uneven, depending on where I put the rim, it's either 9'6" or 9'7". And when I put the rim this close to that bar on the front, I sort of like butt it up and touch it to that second bar, the furthest away from the camera. The front of the rim is actually 9'7" and a bit. It's actually like an inch and a bit higher than it should be when, from what the standard measurement on the hoop says it should actually be. So in theory, I'm actually dunking on an inch and a bit higher than I usually would. And I think either that got in my head and it's a placebo, or like it was a little bit more difficult to dunk today, or I just wasn't jumping my highest today. But it was definitely harder to get these dunks today on this rim. But I still managed to get a few in. I got the basic dunks in. I wasn't doing anything fancy or any new attempts, just sort of basic left, right, left, on either hand, left hand, right hand. But I was really struggling to get two-handers today for some reason. I tried a couple like off the dribble, kind of like off a triple threat and a jab step. Not that I'm ever going to be doing this in game for anytime soon, but it was fun to try and do them off of that triple threat position. But I was really struggling with the two-handers today. I probably took about 10 or 15 attempts on two-handers, and I only managed to get like 2, maybe 3 of them. Really struggled. That was the first one after about like 5 attempts, and this was the second one after a few attempts. Really struggling off that left-right plant today. Barely got that one, but not bad. I take that. You can see me shaking my head right now. I was really struggling. But overall, decent dunk session. It wasn't the worst one I've ever had in a while, and it's not the best one either. It's pretty good considering the rim is actually 1 inch higher than it actually should be. So pretty pleased with how I performed on these dunks. That was probably the best dunk of the day, and here is the last make of the day. Then I moved into some cleans. Started off doing my regular clean complex, doing high hang power clean followed by the high hang clean. But as I got heavier and heavier, I decided that I would like push the weights a little bit and just see how heavy I could go for a high hang clean. And I must say, I've done a high hang clean PR today. So, high hang full clean, of course. So, when you basically, I guess you could call this a hip clean as well, where you're sort of doing it from the power position. I'm not really letting that bar drop below the mid-thigh. It's sort of staying at the top of my mid-thigh. I don't know, maybe some of you weightlifting aficionados in the comments could let me know what this variation is called. I would call that a high hang hip clean or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I hit a new high hang hip clean PR today. Got 125 kilos. So what you're watching right now is 100 kilos. Was that 110? No, this is 110 now. This moved pretty well, and I decided that I would go for a second set because when I was in Aberdeen last week, I couldn't even get this for 2 sets. So I figured I'd bet myself and do it for 2 sets. A little bit of thoracic rounding and a little bit of hinging in that front squat position to stand it up. 115 high hang power clean is also a PR for me, which is what you just saw there. And then this 115 actually moved better than the previous 110. So this is 115 again. I think at this point I decided, look, I'm just going to go for the high hang cleans now and just catch it in that full squat position. That one probably moved okay. Tried again for another set of 115 here. I think you're seeing that now. That was probably the best 115 of the day. And I was like, all right, screw it. Let's just go up to 120. So this is 120 right now. And I don't know what it is. Once I go above 120, I always get pinned in the bottom of cleans. And it's probably because I don't work on my front squat enough. And I keep telling myself, like, after I've dunked on 10 feet, I'm going to go back into doing weightlifting again, really work on my front squat, work on my weak points in my Olympic lift. I mean, I haven't even snatched in the best part of, a few months. But, you know, there's the 120 high hang clean. And then here is a high hang clean PR. 120 was a PR. I believe this is 125. Got pinned in the bottom, but I was like, nah, I'm standing this up. I'm getting that back up. Okay, good. And then I moved into some trap bar, very, very high handle, very, very sort of like quad dominant focused. You can't even call these a trap bar deadlift, because I'm calling these trap bar quarter squats, because really what I wanted to do, my intention with this movement was to load up that quarter squat position as heavy as I physically could. And I literally just ran out of space on the trap bar because the range of motion was so short, and I was really sort of focusing on just keeping my back as vertical as possible to really load up those quads and make it into the quarter squat. I actually found that this was quite easy, and I worked up to here. What you're watching right now is a set of 230, if I'm not mistaken. Completely maxed out the space on the bar. It's really a pain to get all those weights on there. I've actually got these like thinner metal plates, which are a real bitch to put on because they don't have any handles and they're rusty, but you know, that's a story aside. Anyway, so yeah, finished up with some lower leg training. I did a superset of some tibialis raises and some bent legs, so Laius calf raises. This is 100 kilos, which is what you're watching here right now. Then I worked up to 120, which is on the bar behind me right now, and 15 kilos for the tibialis raises. First set, I just did like 15 reps. Second set, I just went to failure, as many reps as I possibly could. Same deal with these bent leg calf raises here. All right, thanks for watching, guys, and hopefully I'll catch you in the next one.